Hi there, this is Gary Dranow from Park City, Utah. Welcome to the Gary Dranow Show, coming to you from YouTube and radio stations across the nation. Come hang out with me and my guests while we talk about music, life, and reality. Welcome to All Things Music with Gary Dranow. Today's guests are one of the most talked about underground bands rising out of New York City right now, Saint Devine. Described as a blend of sass, subversiveness, melody and muscle, I can't say the word,
incendiary.
Yeah, thank you. Noise and emotional voltage into something completely their own. Joining me today are the band's founders and vocalists, Will Croxton and Judy Ann Knock. Judy Ann is also a best-selling author whose modern witchcraft series through Simon & Schuster has become highly influential in modern spiritual culture. So welcome to the show, Judy Ann and Will.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Gary.
All right, the show's over. I'll talk to you later. No, I'm just kidding.
It's a wrap.
How did the two of you first begin collaborating creatively?
I met Judy Ann at a rehearsal for a mutual friend, Ivan Julian, who was putting together a big stage show. And he had a pretty expanded band. Judy was singing. They were performing a song of mine, and I was asked to come in. And I don't even know why I was there, actually. But anyway,
fate.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Judy and I instantly started talking, and I don't know.
Why wouldn't you?
Right? And I think it was probably a year later that I approached her about starting a project.
Okay. And you both formed with punk legend Ivan Julian before forming Saint Devine. How influential was that experience?
I would say it was massively influential for me because, Ivan brought me into the band as a backup singer, and I had been performing with him for quite some time before I met Will. And I was completely gagged when I found out that Will was one of the songwriters for the song that was the title track off the album that I sang on. I did all that before I even met him. So our collaboration actually sort of like predated our real life meeting.
It started in the ether.
Did, yeah.
Yeah, I've been working with Ivan for quite a while. We co-own a recording studio together, which Judy's a part of now. And we have been really tight and working on various projects together. And we were in a band briefly in the early 2000s called the Royal Wilds, which is the song that we're referencing is from. Ivan and I have just been, it turns out we're both kind of from the same part of the country in Virginia. And we've just, I met him soon after I moved to New York. So I've known him for quite a while.
So my listeners and now your listeners know what bands is Ivan most known for?
Richard Hell and the Voidoids was his first big thing. He also played on a Clash album, which is
Are you serious?
Mind bending, yeah. Ivan Meets G.I. Joe, that's him.
Mm-hmm.
From Sandinista. And he was Matthew Sweet's touring guitarist for all of his his major run. So, and various other things as well. And an incredible solo artist, I might add, with two just mind-blowing albums.
Name the albums so my listeners can check them out.
The Naked Flame was the first one, and Swing Your Lanterns was the second one.
Okay, and I've heard of both. Believe it or not, from my sheltered Jimi Hendrix ridden world. When did you guys, what was the moment where you guys realized this needs to become its own band?
Well, I had just I had had a recording project during COVID, and it was great. I with some really great musicians, and we were releasing a song a month, and I just got the itch to start playing live again, and was kind of researching through my mind like who would work here, and then I was like, oh yeah, Judy Ann, and we I ran into her at a friend's birthday party, and I just kind of walked up cold and was like, "Here's the deal," and uh,
Sure.
and she kind of said yes. I think I don't even know if she said yes, but actually, you can take it from
Were
there.
you down on one knee with a diamond?
Pretty much.
No, I didn't say yes. I said when.
Oh,
Because, we met at a party and everyone's like, "Hey, we should do something sometime." And that's not how I operate. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to do something, like I need to know when. So I said, that sounds great. When? So, like, we got a date on the calendar. I went to the Super Giraffe Sound Studio, which I had been doing, like work for Ivan, work for other bands, and I was pretty familiar with that. And so this is the first time I was doing a session with Will, and I felt like I had met my twin. Like, we both had this cultural
Brothers and
connection to
sisters
the
from
South,
another mother.
kind of like same astrological sign, same musical sensibilities.
What is your
And it was just
astrological
like, I
sign?
just felt like I was in lockstep with this person from day one.
Yeah,
And
that's kismet is what we call it. Um, what is your astrological signs?
oh, well, we're both Libra, and that's like historically very good luck for me. I tend to get along well with other balance seekers.
I'm a Pisces. What does that say about me?
What that says about you is that you are an old soul, and this is your final incarnation, Gary. So
God
make it
dang it!
make it a good one, because your ass ain't coming back.
Well, and I've only got about 20 years left in life, maybe 25. My mother, as I was telling you earlier, is 100 years and 8 months old,
Oh,
and
God
she
bless her.
plays Scrabble and bridge and kicks everybody's butt. But I figure 20 years will put me at 92. And Buddy Guy is still playing. If you ever heard of Buddy Guy, he's a
oh
blues
yeah,
guitar player,
oh yeah.
and he's still playing at 90, and he may even be 91 now. So I've got a signed picture of him up on my wall, and I pay homage to it every time I walk by because I want to die with the guitar in my hands.
I love that for you. Yes.
Saint Divine feels rooted in punk, but also drenched in Americana and noir storytelling. How would you describe your sound in your own words?
Well, we're both Southern, so I think that informs a lot of it. And growing up Southern, you're kind of ensconced in classic rock. And so there was that for me. I grew up in a very small town in Virginia, and kind of started hearing about this band called the Ramones. I didn't know
Uh-huh.
what it sounded like. I didn't know anything about it, but they looked weird because I would get Rolling Stone, and I didn't know what it was. But as soon as I heard it, I knew that was everything.
Uh-huh.
It
Okay.
kind of was life changing.
Like Jimi Hendrix was for me, the Ramones were for you. How
Yeah.
old were you then?
I was probably in my late teens, mid
So
teens. I don't
kind of old to discover your vein of music.
Like I said, I grew up in the middle of nowhere. So there was no one else. I mean, honestly, and stuff came to us, years after it first came out. So it was like we were living in a vortex where nothing existed. And I remember vividly one day walking down the hall in high school, and another kid had a Clash button on. And this is after the fact as well. But it was just like, oh my God, you know? And, we became instant friends.
Judy, step in anytime you want. Don't be a
Again, like very, very similar. My first two like hardcore musical obsessions were The Clash, the Stray Cats, and the Dead Kennedys. Those were my favorite bands starting from when I was probably about like 9 or 10 years old. And I came by way of that the way all good Catholic schoolgirls do, which is the
Wasn't it?
corrupted
I
older
thought it was
brothers of my
Baptist down.
friends.
I thought it was Baptist down there. It's
It
Catholic.
is. That's why, yes, I was very used to being an outsider. So I was a Catholic girl with a Jewish mom in Southern
Like
Baptist Bible Belt. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, so I grew up singing in church. Like I joined the choir when I was about 7, got my first guitar when I was 7. And by the time I was like 8 or 9, I was like song leader, which I guess would be like a cantor now.
hmm
And I just grew up in a very musical household. My dad is a country western singer-songwriter, so we were constantly
Is he
listening
of
to
note?
George and Tammy, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson.
The big ones.
Yeah, so very, very notable in that. So my first guitar I got when I was 7, and it was stolen by one of his friends.
What
And
was it? What
then
was it?
it was like, I don't know, I was 7. I just remember hiding under the dining room table and crying because I felt like I didn't deserve it. I was so
Was
totally
it
gutted.
a Fender or Gibson or
No, it was like a little
Ibanez?
acoustic, like a 3/4 size beater, you know.
So it was a
And
child-sized acoustic
yeah,
guitar.
somebody walked off with it, you know.
Ah,
But
that's a shame.
my first guitar was my first heartbreak. And my dad and I we wrote songs together. So like I did totally crush the high school talent show, you know.
Uh-huh.
Um and I did this suburban girl thing. I had my piano lessons, I had my voice lessons. I've just been like immersed in music, and that's how I experienced the world. I came into the punk rock scene, like it arrived in my sleepy small southern town right after it had ended everywhere else. You know, so
Especially in New York, right?
yeah, so I kind of cut my teeth in like really disgusting bottle clubs because they would throw the all ages shows.
Oh gosh.
And it was very much centered around like DIY local scene. Very, very centered around like who was within like a 50-mile drive. So,
Yeah, I recently had someone on my show. Actually, he's a country western artist from the South, and what he did to get started is he first drew a 50-mile concentric circle around his house and played in every venue he could find in that 50 miles. Then he went out 100 miles, then he went out 200 miles until he
I love
touched
it.
Nashville.
I love it.
Um, your music feels both vintage and modern at the same time. Who were the biggest musical influences? We already know it's the Dead Kennedys and the Clash and the Dolls.
Yeah.
Let's
And the
talk a little
Ramones. Don't forget the
and the
Ramones.
Ramones. Let's talk a little bit about the Dolls though,
Well,
because they were
well, actually,
probably
actually, can I interject a little bit? Because
no.
those are the foundations of our sound. But I think for songwriters, it goes a lot deeper. We've been doing a series in New York where we celebrate songwriters that have been really influential to us. We did a Dylan night. We just did a Kinks night. Ray Davis is one of my favorite songwriters ever, if not the uh, best. So I think the songwriting form, the energy we're taking from punk, but I wouldn't confuse us with a straight up punk band.
Mhm.
I think our influences run a lot deeper than that, and I think
Yeah,
the
and
new.
I've listened to the stuff that you sent me, and it's I wouldn't call it punk, but
I mean, it's definitely part
it's
of the
got an
DNA.
edge. It's got an edge, but
Yeah,
um, there's this beautiful collision in your sound, almost like the Velvet Underground crashing into outlaw country at 2 a.m. in downstairs Manhattan. What do you think?
I like that.
That tracks, totally tracks. Did you come up with that, Gary? I want to repeat that.
I did come up with that.
I
Yes.
think we're
That's
gonna we're gonna we're gonna quote
that's
that.
awesome.
All right. Well, it's
Uh,
on the show forevermore.
yeah, the
Uh,
Velvets are definitely a huge, huge influence. One of our nights was a Velvets night as well. They're a gigantic influence on us.
and
And
why?
uh,
Why?
I think, possibly it's just being in New York and walking the same sidewalks they walked. I
Playing the
just
same clubs?
not the same clubs, but
And is that because the clubs were gone, or you
yeah,
just
they're
didn't?
gone. They're all
Okay.
gone by now. But I mean, Lou Reed was he was one of the few artists that I did know of growing up.
Did you
Uh,
say Lou Reed?
yeah, Lou Reed. I think
Okay.
it was there was that live record that kind of crossed over to classic rock radio. I remember Sweet Jane, that weird version, that really big metally version that he did in the 70s was a big fixture in my high school. I had no idea that was the guy from the Velvet Underground though. Um,
Uh-huh. Okay.
so but yeah, but the Velvets are huge. I can't think of a better band.
Why do you think dark emotional textures resonate so deeply with listeners today?
I think it's because a lot of bands break through these viral moments and through TikTok, and that is not what we do at all. We could not be further from that world. So people are responding to us, I believe, because they are seeing something that is like deep rooted in New York subculture. We are multidisciplinary artists, both Will and I. We have our hands in a lot. He's a remarkable audio engineer. He's put out over 13 albums. He's been in bands from ever since. I am like immersed in this occult world. I'm also a metalsmith. So when you tap into Saint Devine, you are getting this absolutely deep rooted artistic art rock subculture, authentic New York down and dirty rock and roll.
Judy, do you write the lyrics?
We both do.
Okay. Because you're an author, and
Facts.
does some of your prose from your books make it into your lyric writing?
You know, that's a great question. I don't know that I've really thought of that. I try to bring like who I am to every endeavor. So the books that I write they're practical, they're personal, it's like talking to a friend almost. And the music songwriting is way more nuanced, way more revelatory. It's not didactic at all. It's more like poetry, dark romance. It's a little challenging for me, like as a long form writer. I do enjoy songwriting as that challenge to like keep things short. That's always like my goal, see if I can like, you know,
Like
shut the hell up,
four
keep it
line
down to like 3
verses,
minutes.
two line
Yeah.
choruses.
Yep.
Um,
I will go on and on. It's not a
yeah.
problem.
Do you consciously try to balance beauty and danger in your music?
I wouldn't say that we try. I would say that that's kind of like our strong suit. I think that we do balance that just by like nature of who we are. I don't think it's like a concerted effort. We're not like, hey, let's
Hey,
go
we're
through
gonna do
this.
this, right?
Yeah, it's just really who we are, so it comes out.
How the harmonies between the two of you are incredible, at least from what I've heard so far. How do those vocal arrangements evolve?
Thanks for the compliment. That's great to hear. It's
No, it's
funny.
good. It's good stuff, guys.
It's funny. We were actually rehearsing last night for some radio shows we have coming up, some acoustic ones. And I was thinking, I didn't say this, but I was thinking we don't rehearse nearly enough. Like we've everything we've learned vocally, we've brought a lot to the table. Judy's an amazing musician and just an incredible vocalist and does things I uses phrases I don't even know what she's talking about. But the thing is, I think we've brought a lot of experience to it, but it's been pretty effortless. We don't spend a whole lot of time working on it. It just kind of falls together. I mean, I guess we've developed some sort of style without a style. I was just thinking when you were talking earlier, we don't really have a Saint Divine song pattern, you know? It
So
just
you generic for genres, you're pretty eclectic then.
We jump.
totally,
Yeah.
totally. I mean, I can't, I never think, oh, we got to write another one like that. It just doesn't, my songwriting doesn't work like that.
Hmm. I can relate. We're going to take our first 2 minute break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back with Judy Ann Knock and Will Croxton of Saint Divine.
My pride, so I won't be so hollow inside.
Oh, you're tall enough for this ride.
Can I keep what I feel?
talking with Judy Ann Knock and Will Croxton of St. Devine. Stay with us when we are back, and let's see here. St. Devine emerged from New York's underground scene, but your music feels much bigger than geography. There's something timeless about it. What do you guys? What's your guys' opinion of your own music?
I mean, I think there's a deep thread of songwriting in it, in both of our styles, which intersect and go, separately. On the new album, as a matter of fact, there's songs that we wrote together, and there's songs that we wrote completely separately, and
And
brought them in with the
is the
band.
new album out or is it coming out?
No, June 13th,
June 12th, I think it drops.
12th,
And
right?
then,
June 12th, it drops.
Yes.
on the
Okay.
streamers, it's going to be streaming June
So
12th.
let's have the name of the album so people are looking for it.
The Devil You Know.
The Devil You Know. Okay.
Devil You Know.
What does punk music, or what does punk music mean to you in 2026, if you can believe it's 2026?
Well, we've already established that time isn't real,
Yep.
but as a musician living and working in 2026, I would say is it about aggression, it's about honesty, it's about confrontation, and it's about truth. For
Yeah,
sure.
I would echo all those things. I mean, I think it's not a time for stasis right now, and it enables us to add an edge that I think really is needed right now, a pushback and a reaction.
Do any of your songs uh, speak to the political or the cultural environment we are living in right now, or you have completely opposite or different subjects?
Judy, I think I'm gonna let you take that one.
So I would say, absolutely. We are, launching a full-on audible attack and critique on the current administration in a way that is
Thank
completely,
goodness.
completely explicit and completely non-apologetic and completely unambiguous, that we are taking direct aim in a very outspoken way against the ridiculous evil circus that has taken over the political climate today.
Isn't it frickin' crazy? I mean, the man who's behind it all is absolutely nuts.
You're going to love our new single.
I've got one I wrote back in his first term that I can't remember the name of it, but it took it straight on too.
Yeah, I got one of those as well. And it's sad that the stuff that we wrote in 2017 is still relevant. That's going to be a great day when these songs no longer matter, but right now they do. So
It's funny because we have a couple of songs that dwell on the subject.
Yeah.
Judy is much more confrontational in her style than I am. We have another piece that basically I called it the January 7th song. I was just trying to make sense of what the other side, what the aim or what the rationale or what was going on in the heads of some of the people involved, trying to make sense of what happens next.
I don't think you can make any sense of that whole thing at all. But
No, I mean I couldn't, and I just wanted to put it to music. And it's funny, the song is about 7 minutes long, and I wrote it in about 3 minutes.
huh? Okay, I got one of those.
Yeah.
Uh, how important is authenticity to underground music today?
I
And the obvious answer is everything, but let's go deeper.
don't know, because as a survivor of the indie, 90s, it isn't what it was in terms of, the music business, and I hate to get into the music business, but the music business has
Well,
changed.
I was going to ask you about Spotify here in a few minutes, but go ahead
Yeah.
about the music
Um,
business.
so the stark reality is that the only way you're going to make money with recorded music now is to sell it to a or license it to a TV show, a movie, a commercial,
Think
or
licensing.
yeah. And in the 90s that was verboten. You wouldn't
Yeah.
dream of doing that. You would lose any indie cred you have, but
Yeah.
you were selling CDs by the truckload back then. So, and making, a huge profit. Um, and I think the whole system is, on its head right now. I mean, it's honestly, it's criminal what has happened to the music industry.
I've got a song that I wrote called 0.004,
Oh,
and
you've seen
I
those
bet you guys
spreadsheets.
could figure out what that is.
Yep.
Oh, I think I
So,
know, but I'm afraid to say.
no, you can say it's what Spotify
It's
plays
a
you per
payout.
stream.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
thought.
It's really interesting, and I can't figure it out because I ran a record label for a while, and I still kind of do, but there's no real labels anymore. But it's really interesting because back in the early 2000s, we were my partners and I, with the label we were running, were looking into doing online music, and we're talking to some of the majors about like what their approaches were, and we were kind of dumbfounded that they were all like, "Oh, this isn't going to last." And, it's like movies figured it out to an extent. They're getting hurt too. But, streaming services certainly charge me every month. But the only people making money from, streaming is Spotify,
That's
and the other.
right. And the only people that are making it in the music business are all 60 years and above.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
uh, I mean, think of a big concert that you may have been to or wanted to go to, and the ages of the musicians. It's funny.
Yeah. And it's funny too now because, all these tours are getting canceled and people are complaining about, paying $250 for a ticket, which I don't like paying it either. But it's like, let's look at the reality. Their entire income stream just went out from under them. Then COVID happens. So
Yep.
like, you got to make money somewhere. And that's the only thing left.
That's sad truth.
Well,
Your songs feel emotionally fearless. Is vulnerability the new rebellion?
What a great question. I don't really
Hey, I
know if
work
it's
hard
a,
on these.
yeah, you did your homework. Vulnerability as a rebellion. I will definitely say that it's challenging, right? Every performance, every song starts in that place of terror where it's like reading your private diary out loud to a room full of strangers, and like you code it just enough to be able to communicate. But is that a rebellion? So then I guess if it's a rebellion, then the counterpoint would be everybody has got the facade, right? So are we brave enough to drop that facade? So I'm gonna call it and say yes. Yes, vulnerability is a rebellion. We are
Okay.
so unfiltered. We are so unfiltered.
Saint Devine is unfiltered.
Yes.
College radio and underground stations really embraced your music quickly. Did that surprise you at all?
Um, I wouldn't
By the
say that
way,
it
we're on some of
surprised
the
me,
same
but it
charts.
absolutely delighted me. I was absolutely delighted.
And what I just said is, and we're on some of the same charts.
Well, congratulations.
Well,
yeah.
thank you, Ben, to you
Yeah.
too. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's funny. The expectations that we had coming into this, we didn't really set out with a particular plot in mind, but it's been pretty wild watching. Judy is an avid texter to our group chat with our band, and every day it's something else, man.
Yeah.
And it's been a cool ride over the last year.
Um, with so many radio plays worldwide in such a short period of time, which is impressive for a newer independent band. Well, what does that feel like?
I mean, it was absolutely thrilling. Last summer, I was doing a festival out in Palmer, Ohio called Starwood, and it's like an immersive countercultural festival that's been running like for about 45 years, so since the 80s. So it's like deep in a national forest. There is not internet, no connectivity, like you're really going there for the vibes. And so what happened while I was in like the thick of the woods doing the witchcraft, we ended up on Sound Opinions, which is nationally syndicated through NPR. And Saint Divine is absolutely like, I'm so passionate about it that I'm always looking to see like who's watching or who's listening or who's following or what's going on with this band. And so I get far enough from the campsite because, festival's over, I have to go back to reality, that I get a signal. And all of a sudden, we've like blown up across the country. And I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? And one of my friends, who is a really famous, really influential rock writer, had texted me. He's like, oh my God, you guys were on Sound Opinions, and I didn't even tell, Greg and Jim about you guys. How did he find out about you? And I had to take a minute, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know. Now I do try to like, promote the living hell out of this band because I just think it's that good. So I'm pretty sure like I sent them my EP, but like, is that why? Do any of us know? Do we know like why we start catching ears and why we don't? Like you can't really know. Like it's resonating with people. The DJs
Well,
are picking it up, the
but
listeners are
the
picking it up.
reaction and the engagement tells you.
It's a good
So Trudy,
story.
so Trudy, your artistic identity spans music, spirituality, literature, and performance. Do
Yeah.
those worlds feed each other? Creativity. I can't speak today. I'm gonna give up.
I I think they're really interconnected. I think they are absolutely interconnected. You can trace like the history of modern witchcraft absolutely tracks and coincides with the dawn and rise of rock and roll. To, middle of last century, like around the 50s is when musically things really started to shift. And I say that as a person who is like a musical throwback. Like I
Can you
did
believe I
mention,
was born in
yeah,
1954? How about that?
how about that? You're a little bit older than me. But when I was growing up, like when I was a teenager, I was not listening to the music that my peers were listening to. I was obsessed with like Eddie Cochran, Johnny Burnett, Gene Vincent, like that was my go-to for music. And because I had heard, like Stray Cat Strut on the radio, I was like right to the record store, looked up the liner notes, saw that their first United States release was actually a compilation of two other albums they put out in the UK. So I went straight to imports, and that's where I found like, The Alarm and the Pistols and all these other great bands. Because back then, like you would go to the record store to get your music. Like
Got
release
it.
day, I was lined up. Concert tickets,
Vinyl was
I was
happening.
lined up.
Are you back into vinyl now, or what's your medium?
Well, I mean, I like it. It has like that kind of like nostalgic warmth to it. But I listen to a lot of music on my phone.
Yeah.
I do. I do because
Actually, I'm
I'm in
surprised.
perpetual motion. If I'm going to listen to records, that means I'm home and I'm feral. So
Can't be feral.
I'm outside.
Only cats are feral. Do you see songwriting as kind of spellcraft or ritual?
It's so the writing is the spell, the performance is the ritual, right? So in the spell, you're wanting to create some kind of outcome. There's a reason you picked up that instrument. There's a reason that melody won't let go of you, because we all kind of experience the world through vibrational energy, but the performance is the ritual. That is that sacred right, the communication between the artist and the audience, that exchange of energy. That is what it's about.
All right. Tell it, sister. You're so right. Um, Judy, your modern witchcraft books have reached readers all over the world, and I'm fascinated by the connection between creativity and spiritual practice.
Well, the key word that you said right there is practice. So just to get like a little glimpse inside my practice, Will had mentioned our tribute nights. So when it was time for the Kinks, my practice was to get up at 5 a.m. and I would run songs from 5 to 7 a.m. So that was how like I started my day. And then the end of the day, I would usually like work on original stuff. So that could be just, experimenting. Will and I communicate a lot through voice notes and texts. We do, I would say a lot of our songwriting is just like straight up electronic. We're on Google Docs and we are just constantly sharing ideas. It's like an idea fountain going off at all times. So, and spirituality is the same way. Like, yes, I meditate. Yes, I do the crystals. Yes, I do the candles. Yes, yes, yes. I do all the things.
You're a witch.
Facts. I am a broom riding, spell casting, crystal clutching, card reading,
Cast
rune
some good
throwing
stuff my
witch.
way, would you?
What do you need?
I need wealth, fame, and rock and roll for the rest of my life.
Let me see what I got laying around
and
here.
I've already got it. So
You're fine.
so your spellcraft in my direction, I welcome it, but I'm okay.
Okay.
Do you
I might send you a
believe-
little something anyway.
Thank you. Do you believe creativity itself is a form of magic?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you will never convince me that it isn't.
Why so?
I am a slave to the muse. Like when inspiration shows up, I am powerless against that force. And when it doesn't show up, I am absolutely bereft. And no amount of discipline or caffeine or allotted time is going to take the place of that energetic source.
And staying on subject, what inspired you to begin writing the Modern Witchcraft series?
Well, I mean, probably the honest answer would be desperation.
That sounds desperate.
Yeah, that would be the honest why, where I have this. It's interesting because witchcraft is not something that I've ever like sought attention for. That just seems to be what people want from me. And when I started writing, it was because like I had the opportunity and I needed the money. So,
Well, I hope you're doing well with your series, and from what I saw, you are.
Yep.
Why do you think people are rediscovering spirituality and mystical traditions right now? And say the regime.
Look around, Gary. We need protection. We need justice, right?
We have lost our voice.
Shields
There's
up.
no doubt about it.
Shields up.
Got somebody running amok in our world. Is music one of the oldest spiritual technologies humanity has? And we know the answer to that.
Music and writing.
Yeah.
Writing was so music is like part of the oral tradition. This is how information was passed down. But with writing, that's really like the first time that those traditions could leave your community and travel.
Okay, and with that, we're going to take another 2-minute break. We'll be back with Will Crox and Julianne Knock, and they are knocking it out.
There's the devil that you know,
And the devil that you don't.
angel tells you no,
Swears to you he won't. Hits you with his method.
right between the
When the
eyes,
devil comes to call you.
angels his disguise. But one thing is for certain,
Two things real sure.
you're gonna start hurting,
Time will hold the cure.
lose a lot of pay.
When they take it all, what's it gonna take to make a good man fall?
Let me lie in the bed a string.
Take it all and more.
Give me everything.
I'll show myself the door.
There's a devil that you know.
And the devil that you don't.
The angel tells you no.
Swears you won't.
He ain't never gonna stray from the light that we're the way. It doesn't matter what you say, there's always hell to pay.
And the devil gets it too. You hope it isn't you.
And by the time it's through, there's nothing left to do but let me lie in the bed I made. Let me lie in an early grave. Let me lie in the bed I made. Let me lie in an early grave. Until a cry, not a song, not a sound. When you whisper his name, do you think it's profound? And you see where the tree has a root that runs deep and the wind.
And we're back with Saint Devine, which is made up of Will Crox and Julianne Knock. Who else is in the band?
We have Jesse Barnes on bass, incredible bass player. Mike Ratty on drums, who is one of the most talented and most storied guys in rock that I've ever met. He's played with everyone and just has incredible stories. And Phil
Well,
Watt.
we need him on the show, man.
You
Give him a
would
story
love-
of what I'm
Yes!
all about.
In
Yes.
fact, he was in a band called Morgan. I don't know if you've heard of them. They were a psych rock band from 1969. Their first record is their only record is just mind-blowingly great. In fact, he's got a great story of Hendrix coming to see them. Hendrix, John Entwistle, and Keith Moon coming
Wow.
to see them. And he was a kid in the band at the time. And what was funny was a friend of mine and I who were in a band together with Mike. We both worshipped this record, and we'd known Mike for like 5 or 6 years, and came up in conversation. And he was like, "I was the drummer in that band," and just
Wow.
incredible moment. Yeah, but he's been he called what's his phrase? The only person to play Madison Square Garden and the Parkside Lounge,
Yeah.
which is a small
Wow.
club in New York City. But
Okay.
yeah, he's great. You would love him. He's great stories.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can get him on.
Yeah.
Does performing live create an altered emotional state for either of you or both of you?
Yes. It's a whole other animal. And when it's great, there's nothing better. When it's not, there's nothing worse.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing, and it's a really I had stepped away from live performance for a while, and that's, like I said, it's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this. And it was tough to come back at full speed. And I felt like it took a few shows, a few months actually, to really get it back together. But I think that's one of our strong points. We have an incredible band that backs us up. We would not be anywhere without this band. And luckily, I was able to kind of pull together my COVID band to do this, and brought Judy in, and Judy just took the band to another level. It was really, really great. And the band responded just, yes, we're in 150%. Literally, Judy and I were going to do our first show as a duo, and the rhythm section was like, wait a second, can we play?
Yeah.
And instantly, I think it was a week before the show, and we put together the band, and it's been, nonstop ever since.
Here's a question for you. How do you protect your creative energy in an industry that can drain artists emotionally?
Well, I stay out of it. Like, I've been in the music scene forever, but I have stayed away from the music business. I'm in the publishing business, and there's a lot of similarities. So I
Hey,
found that,
Julianne,
yeah, the skill set transfers, but
I just wrote my memoir. It's 300 pages long. How do I get it out there? Tell me later. What role does
Actually, can I add on to that too?
yeah, absolutely, Will.
I think thick skin. I mean, as I tell art, because I work with a lot of artists as at our studio, and you know, it's like reading reviews. Are you going to believe the good one or the bad one, or just, take them all with a grain of salt? It can't. I'm not going to let it ruin my day. If we believe in what we're doing, and I'm not going to write any differently because of a review. We do what we do, and if it works for you, that's great. If it doesn't, okay. You know, you gotta. I think maybe it's New York too. You just develop a thicker skin. The music business is going to beat the hell out of you if you let it. And I've had times that I've really been wrongly, used by record companies or music executives or anybody or clubs. But it's a nasty business, or it can be. But you can't let it be defined by one action.
Mhm. What role does intuition play in your songwriting process? And I've got a follow-up question to that is what is your recording process? How do you do it today? Are you in separate environments, moving stems back and forth? Or are you in a room together, in a studio together? Will you have a studio, right?
Yeah, no, we're very particular with our recording process. It's mostly analog. We have a Pro Tools interface, but everything is tube driven. If you hear the new record, it just sounds, it sounds like.
Warm.
Um, well, my approach, to a certain extent, everyone is involved creatively when we lay down the basic tracks. Um, I do take a little license as a producer after the fact. A relationship that like I took years building with my band previously that that became Saint Divine. Um, Judy and I at some point will take kind of over, and that's where that goes. And I think everybody's kind of on the same page. What's really been fun and funny about the last record is the left turns that happened right before we hit record, where a song that was perceived as one thing turns into something else because the drummer, the bass player, the guitar player is like, I'm going to try this.
Mhm.
And a couple of songs were radically changed. So much so that I can't even remember what the original incarnation was,
Wow.
which is great. And the thing is, there's a level of trust within the five of us that's extraordinary. Um, I'm not saying that we'll never fight, but we don't fight. There's no backfighting. There's no backstabbing. There's no second guessing. It's like, okay, we have each other's back. We're gonna make as we're all working in service of the song,
Yeah.
no matter whose song it is. So, yeah. Hope that
Speaking
answers.
about songs, your songs feel cinematic to me and emotionally lived in. Where do most songs begin for you? Lyrically, mood, riffs, imagery? Take your pick.
For me, it's all of the above. I mean, there are songs that I can isolate a line in the bridge that started it, and it might take 2 years before that becomes something else. I'll generally know. I don't put it this way, I don't really have a lot of outtakes. If something's not working, it either moves into something else or it disappears. So by the time I've brought something to the band, I've pretty much decided this is what this is going to be, or this is how I'm presenting it to you, and now we can take it somewhere else. But there's occasions where I come up with a guitar riff. There's occasions where I would say there's an idea of what wants to be expressed, and that's where it goes. I think of a song like Wedding Ring on our new record, which was a very long process of working that out. I wanted to do a character exploration of a couple who had reached the end and basically was past the end and was still trying to reclaim some bit of use or something that just wasn't there anymore. Um, and that just became, its own journey right there, trying to figure out how to portray that. And I ended up being able to use a previous song from our EP and taking the characters from one song and just like kind of continuing them. after things have gone completely south. And and then with that, as depressing as that sounds, our bass player was like, "Hey, let's pump this thing up. Let's make it an anthem." And it was like that's exactly where it wasn't going, but that's where it is now, and it works, you know. If you listen to the words, you're like, "What?" But you know. So anyway, that's my long form answer to that.
That was a good answer, Will, and I appreciate it. What song best represents the soul of Saint Divine right now? And it could be off
Yeah,
your new album.
I'm gonna let you take that one, Judy.
Um, wow, what song represents the soul of Saint Divine right now? It's going to be too hard to narrow it down because earlier you asked a question that we didn't really get to explore that much, which is
Well, let's
the,
go
the
back to it.
function of intuition in songwriting. And Will and I have like this really kind of I would describe it as like an uncanny connection where there have been times where we've been mirroring each other unbeknownst to one another. We'll be writing like the same themes and the same like songs almost at the same time. And we'll come together and say, "Hey, I've been working on this." And it's like, yeah, that's kind of exactly that's kind of exactly what I was working on too.
Well, I think
Um,
we can take two songs then off of the record. Talk about that. That's specifically what you're talking about.
yeah, so he had sent me like a scratch of this song um called like The Devil You Know. And I had written like a whole song the night before with the same title. So I sent him back the lyrics and he put them in that song. And I was like, but wait, there's more. So we had originally thought so one of them is called the devil that you know, and the other is called Water Wine. And we thought, oh, these are going to be fantastic bookends, like, first track, final track, and then we'll build, this whole like dark romantic narrative world within these two bookends. And then it didn't happen like that at all.
Mhm.
So I love engaging with this process. It's like it's never what you think it's going to be, but it'll be what it needs to be.
Okay. Swallow and Spit both made major waves critically. Do those songs feel special while writing them?
Uh, it's really funny because Swallow was our first big collab,
Yeah.
and I'll never forget when she sent it to me. I was like, "You can't use Swallow in a title. That's a Ramones song." And then I read the lyrics and I was like, "Oh my God, these are amazing." And I wrote it in like minutes, it felt like. Uh, so yeah, I Judy, you can take it
He
from.
had sent me like a scratch of this very like percussive acoustic intro, and it was the most wicked little hook I had ever heard. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna run with it, and we're
Oh,
gonna run really,
what
really far."
was it? A vocal thing, a guitar and vocal thing? What form was it in?
It was a guitar. It was a
Okay,
guitar riff.
acoustic or electric?
I play acoustic through amplification. So it's not traditional. And a lot of times I'll have a lot of problems with sound men who want to, use it like an ovation. And I'm like, no, that's not the intent.
No, that's not it.
That's not it.
It's going to sound like a Mack truck, when it gets to it. Um, yeah, I think I sent it to you acoustic.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. Um, how important is storytelling in punk and Americana?
It's like the chronicle of our age. It's the chronicle of our times. I think it's hugely important.
Yeah, I
Anything
agree.
more? So I
I
got a follow up. I've got a follow up to that. A lot of modern songs feel disposable. Yours feel like they leave scars.
I think that might be you know, living long enough to have some scars. I'm a very different songwriter than I was when I was 20. And a lot of times it's exploring those scars, which is becomes the essence of songwriting. And I think about some songwriters who just did some extraordinary stuff later in their careers, like John Prine, later on, like his last record was beautiful. Um, the Ray Davies record that came out about 5 or 10 years ago. Um, I just think, there's experience and writing about that experience. And, it is funny. I've got a teenage daughter and she listens to a lot of stuff, that I'll overhear, and it does seem a little simplistic and, you know, but, I
God
kind of,
forbid Taylor Swift.
no, it's not Taylor Swift. She went
Good.
to plays real quick and got out of that. But I mean, I can't pass judgment on younger kid music because music is what it is. If it resonates with somebody, it's doing its job. You
Yeah.
know, I might think it sucks, but uh, you know,
Well, and it probably does.
yeah. But
So we talk
I mean,
about scars.
you're not gonna change the mind of a 16 or 17-year older about their favorite band, nor should you.
Nor should you. Yeah, yeah,
And
you're right.
I remember my parents going, "What are you listening to? That's not Elvis." And I was a huge Elvis fan, and then all of a sudden one day I was listening, to completely different things.
Hmm.
And it's what it is. I read a great interview with the Beastie Boys recently, or with uh I think it was Mike D, or no, I don't know which one.
Is that you've got the right to party? Is that
Yeah, yeah. But
yeah, right.
he was talking about going to one of his kids' baseball games or something and like listening to their music. And he was like, how it wasn't resonating with him. And it's like, it's not supposed to. That's not my music. That's their music. Music is very generational. I mean,
Hmm.
we do get the odd youngster, coming and watching us and getting what we're doing. But like, by and large, it's just not their makeup,
Well,
but I run into kids who are into punk and we have a similar vocabulary, but that's kind of the exception rather than the rule.
well, we talked about scars. So is pain necessary for meaningful art?
I can't imagine it without it. It'd be a
Hmm.
pretty boring art world.
Julianne?
I think that that music is like the transmutation of that pain into beauty. So the music, when you're interpreting it, you are changing it, right? You're informing on the narrative or whatever that moment was for each individual person that brought you to your knees. Um, it's universal. So you're gonna find that song, and if you don't find it in the record store, if you don't find it on the radio, you're gonna find it within yourself. When you hear it, you're gonna know.
It's a good response. I dig it.
It's
How
also
do you
interesting too because
go ahead?
songs mean different things to different people. And I've heard, people talk about our songs and I'm thinking that's not what this song's about. But if it's resonating, we've done our job.
Mhm.
How do you avoid becoming creativity? I'm having trouble today, kids. Safe. How do you become how do you avoid becoming creativity? Say it for me, Julianne.
Creatively,
Yes, thank you. Safe.
I don't think art and music is about safety. I don't think that's what we're looking for. I don't think that's
It
the
kind of
goal.
doesn't work if it is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What has been the hardest part of building an independent band in today's climate? Oh, now we're talking about streaming and all kinds of things.
it's a double-edged sword. I mean, on one hand, it's so easy to put music out now, and which is just, really freeing. The single that Judy was referencing before, we just kind of were like, let's just put it out. And it was out within 2 or 3 days. We got a huge review on it, out of the blue. We did zero promotion for it.
Sure.
And
And it
you can
caught the wave.
literally, Yeah, and you can literally just do it. You know, you could write a song. I could write a song right now. I could run to my studio, record it, and I could have it out by midnight, which is incredible. On the other hand, I think I read something that there's a million songs put out every day. So, and you mentioned the word disposable before.
Well, and now there's AI, Suno, and all its ilk, and it's pumping so much music into the environment. It's unreal.
But it's pumping garbage. So like I cannot imagine withstanding that whatever that country song was that was number one for a while that was totally AI. It's
Yeah.
just it's funny. A mutual friend of Judy Ann's and mine posted online earlier. I was reading. If it when you're putting up AI art, everybody knows what it is,
Mhm.
and everybody complains about it. And like
Nobody could-
you can
yeah.
do it, sure, but it's not going to resonate with anybody. It's not going to make an impact on somebody. That's where the human emotion comes into it. And I don't I'm as aware of AI and I'm as afraid of it and see its usefulness as much as anybody, but it's never going to replace art. It just
No,
there's
I agree with you. Um, I own a production company. You probably don't know this. And in my production company, I use AI as a tool. Uh, and I think that's where it resides in its usefulness in music today, is as a expressive tool that you can hammer out ideas or get different takes on things you may be struggling working with. But past it as a tool, I agree with you, Will. I think it's pumping out garbage, and
yeah,
and it's unfortunate.
yeah, yeah. I mean, its application is what it is. I've used it many times and it does some great things, but you know, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna look for a second line and a verse from it. You
Right.
No, God, no, not lyrics. Uh,
Yeah.
what advice would you give young artists trying to survive out outside the mainstream machine? And we'll start with stay away from AI.
Well, I would say be clear in your vision and then don't stray from your vision because there's all these things like when you're starting out that you don't know, like, oh, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? And I get caught up in that too. And what helps me stay centered is like returning to the vision, which is writing great music, which is making it interdisciplinary, making it authentic, keeping it real, and not getting pulled apart. Like especially as a writer, people have really tried to like, pull me into like celebrity culture, and that's just not authentic to who I am. That's like not what I crave. That's never going to work for me because it does not resonate. I've been chastised for not having a YouTube channel, not having a million,
You don't
online
have a
followers. I'm
YouTube
like,
channel?
I don't, hmm, no,
Well, you're going to be on one.
that's great, because like I'm not a YouTuber. So like I don't have to be all these other things to be a musician. Like the music is enough. That's the vision that I don't have to have like I mean there's certain creative things that I enjoy. Like we do have a merch line and I had a lot of fun with that. I'm not exactly like a textile designer, but Will is a creative visionary. I'm a creative visionary, and we like to express that over different mediums, right?
Yep,
And
absolutely.
and Gary, we do have a YouTube channel. Just so
Yeah, but I was talking about something else. You know
I,
what I mean? Like
She was talking about being a
being
YouTuber.
I
a YouTuber, like commentary,
yeah.
content creation. That's like I'm not good at it. I'm not interested in it.
Yeah. I mean,
And I
I
So
get
would
told that
don't
all the
so
time.
don't be it. Um,
Yeah.
I
okay,
would tell
we've
any
come to
young
our guys. I'm going
oh,
to interrupt you because we've come
yep.
to our final segment. We have had a wonderful hour, and now we're going to go into rapid fire and closing thoughts. All right, quick answers from both of you. Favorite late night album?
Current or cumulative?
Whatever.
Um, Favorite late night album. Oh, this is hard.
Then we'll skip it.
come
Vinyl
back.
or
Back to that one.
streaming?
What was the first part?
Vinyl or streaming?
In a perfect world, vinyl would be great, but as Judy Ann mentioned, you know, it's the reality of the situation now. I can't carry my albums around on my bike, you know.
Most dangerous city for rock and roll energy?
I've had some bad times in Detroit. My car got broken into twice during one set,
Jeez,
or our
That's-
van.
that's nasty. I hope you didn't lose a priceless guitar.
No, we had
One
them all.
artist everyone should rediscover. Ray Davies?
I want to go a little deeper than that. I would say, God, I wish you'd sent these to us before.
That wouldn't make it. That wouldn't make it what it is, man.
You know what? I would put. I don't know why I'm thinking Alex Chilton. I've been listening to him a lot lately.
Okay,
Yeah, best star.
acceptable answer. Judy Ann?
I already forgot the question. What were we doing?
It doesn't matter. Next one. Best songwriting advice you've ever been given.
Keep it to 3 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Shorter the better.
I was
short and
told
sweet.
play to your strengths. You know, I was told early on that like you can write hooks, like stick to that. And I rebelled against it for a long time, but I was like, you know what? Maybe okay.
All right. Favorite dive bar.
Parkside Lounge for me. People think I work there. I'm there so much.
I got a soft spot for the Turkey's Nest in Brooklyn.
Okay. Loud guitars or haunting lyrics.
Both.
I knew you were going to say both. All right.
You've heard our band.
Song you wish you wrote.
Ooh.
Oh God. Well, we just did this Kinks thing. Waterloo Sunset, I think, is probably the greatest song ever written. But oh man. Oh, Louie Louie.
Louie Louie. Oh my God, that brings back memories. Most underrated punk band ever.
Underrated. Jesus.
I know that's a tricky one, right? I'm trying to think of underrated
Uh,
punk bands.
Scream. Scream's first record I will put up against any punk record ever released.
Judy
Scream, still screaming.
Scream, still screaming. Judy Ann?
Okay, so two things that came to mind, I don't know why, are like Germs and X-Ray Specs. I don't know why.
Well,
I don't know. I wouldn't really call them underrated, but I'm like, that's what came into my brain. So
Well, if that's what came into your brain, that's what's meant to come out.
can't be held responsible for
Last one. Cats or dogs?
cats.
Will?
Not cats.
Dogs. All right. This was Will Cruxton and Judy Ann Knock from Saint Devine. Saint Devine. And be sure to check the description below for links from our guests. And please be active and engaged in the comment section. And maybe in a few months we could have Will and Judy Ann back, and maybe their drummer, or maybe we could have just him if they hook me up.
Yes.
And we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks,
Pleasure.
Gary.
Thank you guys.